behavior. The data member is known as the object properties, attribute or the object states, or the memory जो आपके automatically हम जो उसको memory assign करते हैं at the runtime, that is known as the object's identity. We can have a number of objects for the same class. So we define the class. The template of a class is given as class name. We define the class name by giving the any name we have to given. Then we have the data field, which is known as the attribute, and then we have the method. In C++ or in Java, you also have created the class. Like we have created the data member, we have created the member function, we have created the number of objects. So number of objects can share the same property, and same that property can be accessed by using the action, or you can say the method. As we have discussed while defining the class, we always use a constructor that is defined as a 2x underscore init and then 2x underscore. So this method is basically a special kind of method. जैसे कि आपका constructor जो होता है वो एक special kind of member function होता है which is automatically called when the object is created. Similarly, so init function is also known as a construction, and it is also sometimes known as an initializer, which is invoked to initialize the new object state when it is created. What does it mean? It means whenever the init function is called, whenever the object is created, so init function basically assign a memory for that object. आपको मालूम है कि ऑब्जेक्ट कभी भी जब आपका रन क्रिएट होता है, क्रिएट करने के लिए द नीड सम मेमोरी फॉर डिफाइनिंग द वेरिएबल एंड फॉर डिफाइनिंग द मेंबर फंक्शन. सो दिस एक्शन इज परफॉर्म बाय द इनिट कंस्ट्रक्टर. तो इनिट कंस्ट्रक्टर का काम क्या होता है? जब कभी भी आप ऑब्जेक्ट क्रिएट करते हैं तो उस ऑब्जेक्ट की प्रॉपर्टीज और उस ऑब्जेक्ट को एक्सेस करने के लिए मेंबर फंक्शन जो आप यूज कर रहे हैं, जो उसके लिए आपको स्पेस चाहिए, दैट इज डिफाइंड बाय द इनिट. So this is known as the initializer, and it is invoked to initialize the new object state when it is created. It means to assign the memory when the object is created. So an initializer can perform any action, but initializer are designed to perform initializing the action such as creating an object's data field with the initial value. इसका क्या मतलब है कि whenever you are going to create an object, its memory is created by the init object, that is by the initializer. As you can see, there is an example of a class. Class keyword is used. Circle is the name of a class, and then we are having the constructor by defining the init. And init function, there is always a keyword that is known as the self. We have discussed the self keyword in the previous class also. Can anyone tell me what is this self?
Self used to call the constructor by itself. It shows कि constructor को call हो रहा है या फिर destructor को call हो रहा है या फिर कोई function call हो रहा है.
Okay, fine. So can you differentiate what is the difference between init and the normal member method in a Python?
Ma'am, init is a constructor.
And other method?
Ma'am, others are functions.
So there is one different. The init is a constructor, and the other method is normally a method, or you can say the action, or you can say the behavior of a class. Fine. So as you can see, so self is always passed as an argument, but we are not assigning any value to this self keyword. We are passing as an argument this self word as in constructor also, and in the member function also, or you can say in the method also, but we never assign the value to this self keyword. Fine? Fine, beta? Okay. Yes, so there are four member function. One is your constructor that is defined by the init, another are the get parameter and get area and get radius. These are for the three methods. For defining a radius. Hello, am I audible? Hello.
Yes, ma'am.
Am I audible, beta?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Yes.
So self radius is a data.
Ma'am, you are not audible.
data member by using this and then we have the get parameter, and by get parameter we are dot radius dot math dot pi. So return to the self radius. Similarly, any the radius or anything radius dot math pi. So able, or you can say the other data members in the init, that is in the constructor. As we know, the constructor can be parameterized constructor or it can be the default constructor. If we are using the default constructor, we have to pass only the self, but if we are using the parameterized constructor, we have to pass on the data members also. Okay? Okay, beta? Hello? So how can we create an object? So create an object as we create in a class, like object name, then equal to, and then class name, and then if there is some
Your voice is breaking.
Ma'am, you are not audible.
Yes, ma'am.
am I got disconnected?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
कब से? And I'm
Ma'am, अभी एक मिनट है।
continuously. I'm completing speaking continuously. Okay, can you tell me where I got disconnected?
When you are talking, telling about objects.
Some how to invoke the objects and like how to basically call the constructor, how to basically make an object in Python.
Okay. So object can be created by using the object name equal to class name, and any argument is there, and argument will be passed if and only if we have passed some data member in the constructor. अगर आपके init function में अगर आपने कोई भी argument pass किया है, then we have to pass that value if default is value is not assigned. हाँ, लेकिन अगर आपने कोई data member pass on नहीं किया है, तो you are not going to pass any value when you are calling the object, when you are creating the object. So object can be created by using the syntax object name equal to class name and then within a bracket argument. Fine. And by using the object name, as all of you know that we can access the data member and member functions also. जब आप constructor को call करना चाहते हैं, you will use the syntax object name equal to class name and within a braces if argument is there. Similarly, we can use the object to access the data member and the member functions also. And the syntax for that is object name dot data field. जो भी आप data field यानी जो भी आप variable आप use कर रहे हैं, then you can use that value. Object name dot variable name equal to any value. Or similarly, to call the member function, or you can say that to call the method, we will use the simplex object name dot method and then within a bracket argument. Fine. As you can see that this class is created for a circle.
Ma'am, your screen is not visible.
Yes.
Now,
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
so as you can see in the circle class, that you have created a class, you have defined the constructor and one argument is passed and self dot radius is equal to radius is to access the data member, and by one functions you are getting the radius and by one function you are returning the area and by one function you are returning the parameter. So we have created this class. Now we can access the, we can create the object by using that syntax. Like C1 is equal to circle 5 and C2 is equal to circle without any arguments. Okay? Similarly, we can use this object of a class to access the data member by using the syntax object name dot data field and then value, object name dot member function and then argument. So we can use like C is equal to circle 5. So C is the object for a class circle and 5 is the value which is assigned for a radius, and then C dot radius. We can simply use the C dot radius to access the data member also. Fine. And then we can call the another function like C dot get parameter and then C dot get area. Clear? Okay. So we have discussed what is the self parameter. So self parameter is basically to access the data member or to access the instant of a variable. Instant of a variable means the value which is assigned to the variable at that time. किसी भी मेथड में जो आपके x की वैल्यू जो भी आपको असाइन की गई होगी, किसी भी डेटा मेंबर की आपकी जो वैल्यू असाइन की गई होगी, you can access that value by using the self keyword. So मैं आपको एक दिखाती हूँ. Is my screen visible?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Yes,
Can you
ma'am.
see the class? That is the class student. Can you see that? Class student, and I have created a one constructor that is the init, and I have defined the three variable name, roll number and marks. You can also use the number of variable, although you have completed this program. So self dot name is equal to name, self dot roll number is equal to roll number, self dot marks is equal to marks. By using the get marks, I am accessing the marks. By using the roll number, I am accessing the roll number. And by str method, I am accessing the member function or I am displaying the number. So by using this class, we can access the number of a student record. जो आपका डाउट था कि मैम एक स्टूडेंट के लिए करना है या नंबर ऑफ स्टूडेंट्स के लिए करना है. So by using the creating the, आप लोगों ने append function किया है, आप लोगों ने list बनाना सीख लिया है. So by using the concept of append function and by using the concept of list, we can add the number of record in a class. So when I'm running this code, the name. No, this one is not. It is showing the last one only. Just wait a minute, beta. It's hanging actually. Yes. So this can be seen as this. Similarly, you can enter, you have entered the number of marks for a number of students, and then you have calculated the average for that number of students. Okay? Hello?
Yes,
Hello?
ma'am.
पता भी नहीं लगता है कि am I audible or not. So you can try this question by using the class that you can enter the number of radius and you can create the number of object for a class, and then you can define the parameter and then area of a circle based on the number of radius. So you can have the number of object for this class and you can have calculate the area and parameter for number of different objects. ठीक है? जैसे यहाँ पे किया गया कि you have been given the number of radius and then area is calculated based on the number of radius. Fine, beta?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So as per your guidelines, the classes और जो object से related आपका topic है that is 7.1 and 7.2 वो आपका इसमें ही complete होता है. ठीक है? Nothing is included in that class and object. That is only 7.1 and 7.2. But हाँ, आपका जो file handling and error exceptioning है, I will use the inheritance and polymorphism in class and object. Although it's up to you now. All of you can tell me. Although the inheritance concept is not mentioned in your syllabus, so do you want to complete it or do you want to just discuss it?
We will want to complete it.
Complete it.
Okay, as per your guidelines, only the introduction to class, objects and method is there. Now all of you are familiar that how to create a class, how to create an object, how to create the init function, how to call the constructor, how to access the data member and how to access the method of a method in a Python. So this is the basic introduction which is given, which is specified in your guidelines. But I can go for a more topic like polymorphism or the inheritance if all of you are agree. If you say, although it is not mentioned in your syllabus, if all of you are agree with this, then we can go ahead for regarding the class topic like inheritance and polymorphism. So we can do that. After that, we can go for the file handling and the error and exception handling. If all of you agree with the polymorphism and inheritance, we can go ahead.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes,
All
ma'am.
of you want to do the polymorphism and inheritance?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So syllabus के अलावा हम ये topic और cover करेंगे. So we will discuss it later in a next class. That is the what is polymorphism and what is inheritance and how to implement that inheritance and polymorphism in Python. ठीक है?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So any query or any doubt you want to ask regarding the class, objects and method? Any query?
मैम जस्ट अ स्मॉल क्वेश्चन इन द स्टूडेंट क्लास में जो हमने क्रिएट किया था इफ बेसिकली इफ लाइक इट इज नॉट मेंशन इन द लाइक क्वेश्चन दैट वी हैव टू क्रिएट फंक्शन पर्टिकुलरली टू गेट द नेम एंड टू वी हैव टू रिटर्न द मार्क्स सो मैम हमने अगर मेन में ही वो एग्जीक्यूट कर दिया है कि हमने मतलब एक एरे लेकर के मतलब एक लिस्ट लेकर के हमने उसको प्रिंट करवाया है और मतलब क्लास बनाया है तो मैम विल इट बी फाइन और लाइक will it be the case that we have to like even if it is not mentioned then we have to make the function?
No, I didn't ask to make a different function like get marks and
Okay,
get
ma'am.
all, but I just
Okay, ma'am.
asked to use the constructor. So
Okay, yes, ma'am. Yes,
you
ma'am.
have entered the marks by using the constructor only.
No ma'am, I get the point ma'am.
But I didn't get you, but Pallavi.
मैम मैं ये पूछी थी मैम हमने कंस्ट्रक्टर यूज करके मतलब मार्क्स और नेम और ये सब चीजें इनिशियलाइज की है एंड डिस्ट्रक्टर से डिलीट किया है सारे मतलब जो भी इंफॉर्मेशन है और मतलब जो है तो मेरा क्वेश्चन ये था कि जो हम मार्क्स को रिटर्न कर रहे हैं हर एक इंडिविजुअल स्टूडेंट ऑफ द क्लास एंड देन वी आर चेकिंग दैट कि किसका मैक्सिमम है एवरेज सो मैम लाइक वी हैव टू मेक द फंक्शन बट मैम इन क्वेश्चन में मेंशन नहीं था तो इसलिए हमने मेन में ही कर दिया उसको
No, it's okay. एक मिनट बेटा बस. Since beta it is not mentioned that you have to use the different method for defining the for accessing or for printing or for getting the data member from the user. So you have used that constructor for initializing the data member, it's fine. But if any student is there who is having the doubt on how to access the member function and how to call that member function or a method, so then you can use the method for that. But if you have done this with, because it is not mentioned in a question that you have to use the different functions or different method to get an value and to display the result by using the different method. So it's okay if you have done without using the extra method in a Python.
Okay, ma'am.
ठीक है?
Ma'am,
Hmm.
ma'am, like in C++ and Java, we have the concept of static variable and static member function.
We also have the concept of static variable in Python. We will discuss later, beta. We have.
Okay, ma'am. Thank you.
Hmm.
Ma'am, is it important to have unparameterized constructor for calling the destructor?
Sorry?
Ma'am, is it compulsory to have unparameterized constructor to call a destructor?
To unparameterized constructor to call the destructor.
Yes, ma'am. Ma'am, because ma'am, when I make the program, so I use the when I use the parameterized constructor, the destructor was not called. But when I make it unparameterized by giving self as a parameter only, the destructor was calling.
So just tell me one thing, beta. Constructor and destructor are the special kind of method which is initializing the object. Initializing the object. So when you are giving some kind of parameter in that method when you are creating an object, so obviously when constructor destructor में आप कभी भी argument पास नहीं करते हैं. कभी भी आपका जब destructor कॉल होता है, there is no argument.
Yes, ma'am.
है ना? तो आपने चाहे C++ में भी किया होगा, तो आप जब वहां पे डिस्ट्रक्टर को कॉल करते हैं, यू सिंपली यूज द ऑब्जेक्ट नेम एंड देन डिस्ट्रक्टर जो आपका टिल का साइन बना हुआ होता है, तो आप उसके थ्रू जब आप उसको कॉल करते हैं, सो देयर इज नो आर्ग्यूमेंट इन दैट डिस्ट्रक्टर. इफ आई एम नॉट रॉन्ग?
Yes, ma'am.
है ना? Similarly, so when we are concept is there, only the implementation syntax is different. तो जब आप डिस्ट्रक्टर को कॉल करोगे तो ऑब्वियसली देयर शुड बी सम जो ऐसे कंस्ट्रक्टर आपका होना जरूरी है जिसमें आपके आर्गुमेंट ना हो, अदरवाइज तो वो मिसमैच हो जाएगा आपका.
मैम मेरे कंस्ट्रक्टर में तो पैरामीटराइज था तब भी डिस्ट्रक्टर कॉल हो रहा है.
आई डोंट नो, मतलब देन आई कैन चेक कि मतलब इज देयर एनी कंडीशन फॉर दैट काइंड ऑफ की दैट फॉर कॉलिंग द डिस्ट्रक्टर वी नीड टू we can have the argument or we can not have the argument.
मैम बट डिस्ट्रक्टर तो ऑटोमेटिकली कॉल हो जाना चाहिए ना, क्योंकि जब ऑब्जेक्ट क्रिएट होगा तो फिर डिलीट भी तो होगा.
Okay, give me the time. I can check, then I can confirm you.
ओके मैम.
Give me the time, so I can confirm in the next class. When we are calling the destructor, is it necessary to have the parameterized constructor or we can have the default constructor also? ठीक है? Give me the time. Fine?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, now all of you can give me the attendance.